On a day when every tick of the clock carried the weight of life or death, Officer James Cooper nearly met his end. Until Max, his fearless German shepherd, stepped in. Every moment on the job is a gamble, yet sometimes a hero appears in an unexpected form. When danger closed in, Max's sharp instincts and fierce loyalty flipped the script of fate. But the real test of courage was just beginning. A frantic call about an armed suspect at Springfield Mall shattered the stillness. Racing into chaos, James and Max were the first on the scene. In the midst of the frantic pursuit, James found himself pinned down with backup minutes away, while a dangerous, armed suspect had the upper hand. Just when hope was dim, Max charged forward, transforming himself into a living barrier. His act of bravery, a mix of loyalty and self-sacrifice, left even the most seasoned officers in awe. And yet, as the dust slowly settled, an unbreakable bond began to emerge. When the chaos died down, what remained was not merely a story of survival, but a powerful testament to the connection between a man and his dog. In a sterile hospital room, the soft beeping of medical machines marked time, while Officer Cooper sat beside his daughter Emma's bed. His rough hand gently cradled her small, fragile one. Each beep served as both comfort and pain, a constant reminder that, even as Emma fought on, her 3-week coma held her in a silent battle. Outside, autumn leaves danced in the October wind, their warm colours clashing with the stark white inside, as Max lay vigilant at James's feet, his eyes never leaving Emma's face. Yet, memories of a shattered past soon cast a shadow. Max had refused to leave the hospital since the accident, his unwavering dedication softening the hearts of even the hardest hospital staff. Just 3 weeks earlier, in a sudden calamity of twisted metal and shattered glass. Now, both father and daughter found themselves suspended in a painful limbo, waiting for either a miracle or a final goodbye. In that fragile space, a familiar voice broke the silence. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez entered the room with a gentle firmness that softened her usual commanding air. Her eyes, heavy with concern at seeing one of her best officers breaking down, met James's tearful gaze. "Sarah, I can't," he began, but she raised a hand to stop him. "You need to be strong, for the department and for Max," she insisted, nodding toward the alert German shepherd. Max perked up at the mention of his name, a silent promise of support. Her words, firm yet kind, sparked something within James. Dr. Reynolds' calm report followed. No change so far. Emma would want you to keep doing what you do best, protecting others. James's eyes fell on his daughter's peaceful face, so like her mother, and his heart ached. At 13, Emma was their miracle. Karen's a stubborn blessing after years of longing. Clinging to that fighting spirit, James murmured, "The nurses have my number. The nurses have my number." Rising from a chair that had become as familiar as his own bed, he vowed to share every update. "I've got the next shift," Sarah assured him softly. Meanwhile, Max stretched his powerful frame before padding over to the bedside, gently placing his paw on Emma's hand. A ritual from their first visit to the hospital. Even as routine beckoned, the ghost of tragedy lingered. That simple gesture tightened James's throat, a raw reminder of all that had been lost. The drive to the station was almost silent, broken only by Max's occasional soft whine from the backseat. Since that terrible day, Max had grown into much more than a partner. He was now James's lifeline. A steadying force when all he wanted was to break apart. Arriving at the Springfield Police Department's 9 training facility, a once familiar space now felt strangely foreign, like stepping back into a life that had slipped away. And yet even here, old routines clung to him. Officer Mike Shin, the department's newest 9 handler, was guiding his young Belgian Malinois through an obstacle course when James arrived. "Cooper, good to have you back, man," Mike called out warmly, his genuine tone slicing through James's lingering gloom. With Max, as sharp and alert as ever, by his side, James offered to nod. Together, they went to their regular preparation area, checking equipment and running through commands, a routine that tried to steady his trembling hands since that fateful night. But soon, the radio shattered the fragile calm with urgent news. "All units, be advised, we have an armed suspect at Springfield Mall. Multiple casualties reported. The suspect is heading toward the food court. All available units, respond." The radio's crackle sent a chill down James's spine. The mall, crowded with hundreds of potential victims, now posed a grim threat. His finger paused over the radio button as memories of a similar tragic emergency from 3 weeks ago flashed through his mind. With Max's calming presence nearby, James braced himself for the storm ahead. At the mall, chaos reigned. Civilians spilled from every exit, their screams echoing while SWAT teams scrambled to build a perimeter. In the thick of the action, Lieutenant Martinez directed orders over a flurry of radio static. Meanwhile, Max's steady presence kept James grounded. The next message identified the suspect as Matthew Hayes, 45, a former military man who had already shot 3 people in the main concourse, with 2 confirmed dead. Now, Hayes was hiding in the service corridors behind the food court, while SWAT teams struggled to contain him. "We need you and Max to track him down before he hurts anyone else," came the command. James checked his vest and equipment one final time. Thoughts of his own spiraling life. His wife leaving him, the kids gone, and today marking his youngest daughter's 13th birthday. For a moment, everything spun out of balance, but Max's cool nose against his hand pulled him back. "We'll find him," he declared, his voice steadier than he felt. Meow. Deep into the maze of dim corridors, the hunt began. The service corridors were a dim maze of concrete and cold steel, filled with shadows and hidden corners. Max led the way, his nose working overtime to track the scent of fear and gunpowder. With each step, the weight of responsibility pressed harder on James. Every second counted, for the suspect might strike again. Then, in a sudden moment, Max tensed, ears pricking as if something lurked just around the corner. Quickly, James radioed their position to the tactical team and took a deep breath before shouting, "Matthew Hayes, this is the police. Come out with your hands up." The air grew thick with tension as his words echoed off the walls. Immediately, violent gunfire erupted from behind a stack of storage crates, forcing James to dive for cover. Through the chaos, Max stayed calm, waiting for further instructions. Then came a raw, anguished outcry from Hayes. "I'm not going back. You don't understand. They took everything from me." The broken tone of the suspect resonated with James's own deep pain. "For I lost my wife 3 weeks ago, and my daughter is in a coma." James replied firmly. "But this isn't the answer." A heavy silence followed. Hayes insisted, "You're lying. My daughter, Emma, is 13, just like your Sarah. She's fighting for every breath at Springfield Memorial right now. And I'm here because other daughters need protection," James shot back. "Your Sarah needs her father too, but not like this." A heavy silence stretched out as tactical teams moved into position behind them until James raised his hand and signaled for them to hold. The Springfield community rallied around them. Fellow officers organized meal trains and rides to therapy, and the mall's management set up a scholarship in Karen's name for children who'd lost parents to drunk driving. Even Matthew Hayes, from inside his prison cell, sent a letter expressing remorse and gratitude for the second chance to be part of his daughter's life, even if it was only through prison visits. In every shared gesture, hope, and support continued to build. 1 year after the accident, James and Emma stood together with Max beside Karen's grave. Emma, now 14 and walking with a slight limp, gently placed fresh flowers beside the headstone. "Mum would be proud of us," she said, her voice steady amid the tears. "All of us." She reached down to tousle Max's fur while James wrapped an arm around her shoulders, marveling at her resilience. "You were always our stubborn blessing," he recalled softly, echoing words that Karen once lovingly spoke. "And the tug." Max sat at attention, his stance almost ceremonial as he guarded his family in this solemn moment. Even though his fur now bore hints of grey, his loyalty shone ever bright. Yet even as memories healed, life continued to forge new paths. Later that day, as they strolled through a neighborhood park, a daily ritual that had become a part of Emma's recovery, James reflected on how grief and healing take strange turns. The drunk driver who had stolen so much was now serving a 20-year sentence, while Matthew Hayes served time, but still maintained contact with his children, trying to rebuild what he had nearly destroyed. Here they were, a little family changed forever, yet still surviving. Emma even began training Max in her free time, learning the commands that made him such an effective 9. She dreamed aloud of becoming a 9 handler herself someday, turning their shared tragedy into a mission to help others grow. In every step they took, the memory of a lost past gently guided them forward. "Ed," Emma said as she paused along their path, "I remember what Mom used to say about guardian angels." James nodded, his throat tight with emotion. Karen had always believed that guardian angels appeared in the most unexpected forms. I think she sent us Max, Emma added, watching the shepherd patrol the area with his usual vigilance. Not to replace her, but to help them remember to live. James looked at Max, the same dog who had guarded Emma's hospital bed and helped him calm a desperate soul. Well, your mom was pretty smart, he managed through a hoarse whisper, his heart heavy with emotion. In that tender moment, past and future intertwined. Max turned toward them, his dark eyes calm and gentle in the fading light. In those eyes, James saw every hardship they had endured and every challenge still ahead. More obstacles would come, testing their strength and courage, but together, as an unlikely family bound by lost love and duty, they would face them all. As they resumed their walk, with Emma's hand in his and Max leading the way, James recalled Karen's wedding vows. A love doesn't end with goodbye. It changes, adapts, and finds new ways to reach us. She was so often right. Love had resurfaced in the steady heartbeat of their recovering daughter and in the unwavering loyalty of a dog who was much more than a partner. As the sun set over Springfield, painting the sky in hues Karen would have adored, a distant police siren reminded them that duty and danger never truly rested. But for that quiet moment, they were simply a family, a father, a daughter, and their guardian angel on four paws, moving forward together, one step at a time.